Raptor fans, there were a number of major moves, one that marks the end of an era in Toronto.
Let's talk about the Pascal Siakam trade rumors because they're not going away.
Somebody I know who's dealt with Toronto's front office called Masai, the guy in your fantasy league who offers 5 trades a week and then cancels them at the last minute before you can decide whether to accept them or not.
After an ear-piercing play-in exit to the Chicago Bulls, the Toronto Raptors endured a noisy offseason, full of change and speculation. Nick Nurse out as head coach, replaced by Darko Rajakovic. Fred VanVleet bet on himself, signing a massive deal with the Houston Rockets, but not before hinting at what may have gone wrong in Toronto.
There was a mix of guys that had been there, new guys trying to prove themselves. It didn't work out. It wasn't a great fit. For whatever reason, the chemistry didn't click.
Fred was quite open, Scotty, about that some of the differences between the veterans and the younger guys were apparent throughout the season. He felt maybe that you weren't necessarily seeing eye to eye, the two sides. How would you take that? What did you take from that?
I don't know. I could also definitely understand where he's coming from. Being here winning the championship the way they won, it was different. So there's definitely that thirst to wanting to go win another one. And then you have a bunch of younger guys coming in, and we just trying to figure out our game.
You know, we're talking all the time about these things. We're talking to the players. I think it's an interesting dynamic. I think part of it is generational and what's going on with, you know, a younger generation of player coming in, maybe it's expectations that they have. And so I think that's a dynamic that everyone has to deal with. I don't think it's unique to Toronto.
Another Raptor with tenure is Pascal Siakam, who's ascended to an all-NBA level, yet despite being the team's best player, found his name in the rumor mill throughout the summer.
The feeling is a trade is far more likely in the Siakam situation than a contract extension from the Raptors.
You didn't want to leave Toronto. You made that very clear that you wanted to stay with the Raptors. Why was that?
I just want to be in a place where you love, you appreciate it. And for me, I want to continue to try to strive to win and do my best to help. And yeah, like I just want to be in a place where I'm appreciated.
Toronto will call you or you'll call them. They'll start talking about players and they kind of leave teams with an idea at the end of the phone call. They're like, oh, they never really wanted to get a deal done with us anyway.
We know that you and Masai really deeply believe in these players and the talent that you've grown and you've assembled, but there's also been reports that the front office might be difficult to negotiate with, to deal with. Would you feel that's a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, I think that's our job, right? We're always trying to get the best deal for our players, for the organization, to build for the future. So it's interesting that that's said, but it doesn't really affect us.
How close were the Raptors to acquiring Damian Lillard?
I always say you have to ask them. You know, we were very aggressive. I'd say probably the biggest offer we've ever made for a player.
After a summer that changed the face of the Raptors organization, they enter this season with an opportunity to turn down the noise and turn up their new identity.
I want our team to trust each other, to compete on the highest level, to move the ball, to play unselfishly. That's the only way that if we put our egos apart and actually play for the team, that everybody's going to benefit from that.
I think we've always done our best when, you know, people count us out, and so I think that's probably where most people are. And so I think that edge and, you know, being a little bit of the underdog has always done well for us. So I look forward to us being competitive and coming at everyone.
Our focus is just winning. That's just going to help us all get to our goals that we want. It helps everybody look better, helps bring more excitement to us, helps everybody be happy, helps us all sleep at the night.